John Cougar Mellencamp, James Dean, The Fault in Our Stars, Breaking Away, The Jackson Family, Hoosiers. All of these things hail from Indiana, a state you probably aren't giving enough credit for being rife with hustle and bustle. You can sleep on Indiana this week, but come Sunday, the home of the Hoosiers will become the center of the sports betting world. We'll talk about what that means on this episode of Play USA to Z. I'm Jessica Welman, and I am channeling my alumni roots to both root for my alma mater, USC, light on, and to use my time as a grad school Hoosier to teach y'all about Indiana. Before we dive into the best pork tenderloin sandwich, though, here's your reminder that if you want to catch all of our videos, you want to like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications here at the Play USA News channel. All right, now back to the meat of things, and not just pork tenderloin. We didn't have March Madness at all last year. Now, the tournament's back, but in an attempt to keep the event as safe as possible, there's only one location for every single game of the tournament: Indiana. Games will take place everywhere from Lucas Oil Stadium to Bankers Life Fieldhouse to Assembly Hall in nearby Bloomington, about an hour away. With 25% capacity allowed at each venue, there's likely to be a lot of folks traveling to Indiana for the big dance. And you may have questions about how to get up and running with sports betting once you get there. I'm here to answer some, and my Q&A counterpart, Nicole, will have more details in a video from her as well. As Illinois bettors will tell you, some states don't allow sports betting on college teams within the state. Given that Illinois is currently ranked in the top 5 and that Barstool Sportsbook is going live in the state literally right now, today, noon Thursday, people have some fighting words, though, because they're not able to bet on the Fight in Illini. Here's the good news, at least for Chicagoans and other people near the border. There is a brick-and-mortar Barstool Sportsbook just across the state line in Indiana, but if you want to bet online with Portnoy and Company, you can't do it on Loyola or Illinois from Illinois. You don't need to go all the way to Indy, though, or even a brick-and-mortar casino to bet in Indiana. Really, you just need to be far enough over state lines for your phone or your laptop to geolocate and bet. Once there, there's no game you can't bet on, unless you're a student at Purdue. So in 2019, not long after sports betting launched in Indiana, Purdue updated its student code of conduct to expressly prohibit betting on the Boilermakers. Here's the rule. Consistent with these values and to uphold within a legalized gaming environment, Purdue University prohibits its faculty, staff, students, and independent contractors from placing, accepting, or soliciting a sports wager on one's behalf or on behalf of others on any Purdue team, student athlete, coach, statistical occurrence, contest, or event. The staff's not allowed to bet on the team, and they actually risk termination if they do. But much like underage drinking on campus, this rule's pretty much unenforceable. I mean, don't make a TikTok every time you bet on the Boilermakers, and don't have any evidence that you did. The sports books are not required to divulge this information to Purdue. So if you don't tell teacher, nobody will. If you're from one of the many states that don't offer legal sports betting at all, don't be intimidated if you're heading to Indy and thinking about betting. When I say setting up an account takes a matter of minutes, I actually doubt it even takes too much more than 3. And if you want to, you can actually go ahead and set up your account, download the app before you even make the trip. The only thing you can't do from home is bet. You're going to need to provide a couple of pieces of personal info, partial social security number to help verify your age and identity. I would also just advise funding your accounts with PayPal if you haven't. ACH deposits from your bank account also work relatively well and relatively quickly, but trying to fund a sports betting account with a credit card is a bit of a hit and miss endeavor. It's much easier to just deal with an e-wallet or go straight from your bank account. You'll also want to keep an eye out because there's going to be a ton of great deposit promos and bonus dollars and March Madness offers. How you can find those is head on over to playindiana.com. They have everything you need to know about both the big event and how to bet on sports in Indiana. One thing that those of you who maybe have only been to retail sports books might not realize is a fun new betting option, especially for basketball: live betting. You can bet on the point spread or a money line or a prop before the game, but what's really changed is that once tip-off begins, action doesn't end. You can place these bets while the game is going on. The lines move and change pretty much after every series. Live betting is quickly becoming one of the most popular forms of betting, but personal experience, don't get discouraged if you can't get every single bet off in time. These lines update as fast as they can, but sometimes there is a bit of a lag, and so they'll lock bets or move lines before you can get your bet in. Be a little patient though, and you can have a lot of fun with it. Now, another thing we will apparently be seeing for March Madness is sites offering individual player props in the states that allow it. Now, there are plenty of states that don't, and those states include Tennessee, Iowa, Michigan, Virginia. Indiana is one of the states that do, and they've already been seeing some of these markets pop up in games on FanDuel and DraftKings. Typically, sportsbooks have avoided these in the past, if not entirely, at least in part, because there is a perception people could exert undue influence on the player or lean on them to perform a certain way. As I said in another episode with prop bets, as long as the limits stay small, this should not be cause for concern. No one's trying to rig March Madness in order to win $1,000. You know what I mean? Now, the big dance in Indianapolis may be the stars of March, but I have a show some of you loyal viewers might be interested in. I'm hosting a webinar. It's going to be about New York sports betting and the possibility that the state actually finally bites the bullet and does online sports betting this year. Joining me on the panel is going to be Chris Grove of Eilers & Krejcik, as well as our own Dustin Gauker, who has covered everything from PAPSA to today and beyond. We're going to answer all sorts of questions. What proposed sports betting plan is best? Do Mario Cuomo's scandals have an impact on how this is going to happen? This is happening Tuesday, March 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And to get registered for it, just head on over to playusa.com/webinar. There is limited space, so you want to sign up and get a slot before it fills up. I hope that I will see you all next Tuesday in a non-pejorative way. But anyways, in the meantime, I'll see you next time on Play USA to Z.